Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review Cabin in the Woods. You think you know the story.
Directed by Drew Goddard, starring Chris Hemsworth, Kristen Connolly, Anna Hutchison, Fran Kranz, and Jesse Williams. This movie's about a group of friends who go to a cabin in the woods, and unfortunately, bad shit happens. So before we get into things, this is like one of the most recommended reviews for us. It was also voted on in a poll on Patreon, and we did a commentary for it. We're just gonna be talking about the movie. Of course, we're gonna try and fit those into likes and dislikes,
Right.
But we will be spoiling everything.
Not holding back.
You have been warned. So what do we like? Firstly, I like the concept of this movie. It's very meta. We've got our stereotypes. We've got a cabin in the woods. It sets the stage for every typical horror film. Specifically The Evil Dead, of course. But then they have this fun twist where you have these business guys down below
In the lab.
controlling everything. There's cameras everywhere, and they're placing bets on what creatures are gonna pop up because they have all these different creatures that can emerge. And that is just the coolest fucking concept for a movie, I think. It really reminds me of 13 Ghosts, for sure.
I like how you get everybody, you get them together, the whole gang, they're in the Winnebago, and they go to a cabin that they've arranged in the woods. But at the same time, there's this whole other lab thing, and you know, for the first part of the movie, you're kind of like, how does these even fit together? Like, what the hell's going
what
on?
movie? Are we watching Office Space right now?
I like that it didn't take itself too seriously. But it turns out that there's basically like an infinite number of terrible things that could happen. The lab guys are just betting on which terrible thing is going to bring it all down.
Engaging pheromone mists.
Like, there's so many cool things that they've made in this, like, terrarium of sorts.
You know, there are some pretty good characters. Like, I think that we'll definitely agree that the stoner was well done.
Statistical fact. Cops will never pull over a man with a huge bong in his car. Why? They fear this man.
Fran Kranz. I don't know how he can play a stoner so well.
Method actor.
That was actually his trailer on set, rolling joints all day. We also have Yellow Power Ranger and Anna Hutchison. She was the Yellow Ranger from Jungle Fury, Power Rangers. One of my favorite scenes was her going up to the wolf. Only because he was super sexy. And up until that point, you had no idea what to expect from the movie. You didn't know if it was going to be a slasher. You didn't know paranormal. And so because this wolf looks so realistic, and you're like, don't fucking kiss that wolf.
You're right, and it looked angry, too.
I think wolves always look angry. I've never seen a nice looking wolf.
Well, you don't usually stuff something like snarling like that. Although you should, because it looks pretty badass.
I'd love to see like a stuffed wolf that's just like...
I dare you to make out with that moose over there.
Yeah, so I liked that when, you know, we make it into the cellar of this creepy cabin, and there is just basically every freaky thing from every horror movie that ever existed. It turns out that, you know, their fate is in their own hands, and they could choose any one of these, the instrument of their own demise, essentially.
In chooses which creature will rise from like these weird underground tunnels that bring up zombies or ghosts or werewolves or whatever.
Just because there's a lot of cool things to think about.
And this shouldn't be a shock. This is written by Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon created Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the OG movie that I remember from my youth, and then ended up recreating it for the series that everybody now loves, and went on to Avengers. And Chris Hemsworth being in here is hilarious because this is where Joss Whedon basically said, hey, Chris Hemsworth, you should be Thor. And it happened. This is a weird review. I'm gonna be honest. It's all over the place. We're scatterbrained because...
It's odd because I really liked the movie.
I know, but we're just talking about what happened in the movie and not...
Yeah, the things that
the
we
things
really
we
liked
liked.
about the movie. Well, maybe we need to rethink how we're
Okay,
doing this
starting
review.
now. Y'all know our thoughts on some of the spoilers. So now, what do we like again? I really enjoyed the pacing of this movie because we start off very normal and then shit gets wild very quickly, actually. Like, within the first act, you know that there's a bunker and bad shit's about to happen.
Yeah, there wasn't like too much tension building.
But the way that you unravel what's happening, like, below the surface in the facility. This is really cool because they're just trying to have fun with their job while sacrificing these people to the ancient gods so that they can save the world.
As you do.
Some people are just grilling up JBCs all day. Some people are killing people and sacrificing them, using their blood to service ancient gods. I like that they were not drinking out of Solo cups and drinking out of fucking metal tankards.
Yeah.
That's fucking badass.
They did bring a keg, which is cool, because there was only like 5 people.
Which means that's gonna be one hell of a weekend. And when shit hits the fan, we have zombies raising up, killing everybody. Major characters die very early on, which is awesome. And shocking, because you're like, wait,
Right.
how the fuck is Chris Hemsworth dying right now when we still got like 45 minutes left?
Yeah, like there's nobody gonna be left in this cabin.
There's only like 5 of them.
What the hell's going on?
And that's fine, because the last act of this movie is what makes it. And that's the same reason why everybody loves it. It's because shit goes down with all those creepy ass things.
Oh my god, what he's
Released-
like, it's an elevator.
It's an elevator. Somebody sent those dead fucks up here to get us.
I was like, what do you mean it's an elevator?
Where are we
Blew
going?
my mind, and then they got in the elevator. Yes, get down there.
You can see all the creepy ass shit. You can see like the pinhead guy.
Sawhead.
Saw blade head with his little sphere instead of a cube. I think my scariest creature was the big ass snake. Dragon Bat was a close runner up.
I was gonna say Dragon Bat. Actually, honestly, the whole time I was thinking like, okay, I can't believe that these family of zombies haven't killed these people. Like, who would have done a better job? I think Werewolf would have
Werewolf absolutely would have massacred them all.
done it.
I don't know about ballet sucker weird face.
It was scary looking.
It probably sucks faces.
Probably like, yeah. it
latches
probably
onto
does a
you
thing.
and stuff.
Okay.
And very agile, I would bet.
Scary doll mask people.
The home invasion thing, I would have been fine with. I would love to see this exact same cast do
Yeah,
this exact same movie.
Parallel universe. Like Sliders?
Sliders.
Yes.
Thing
Jerry
ever.
O'Connell.
Honestly.
Yes, I would absolutely watch that. But what I really want to see is a prequel. What would be the next one that you make?
The Merman, I think, would be great.
He had the conch in his
Oh,
hands.
you know, in a couple more minutes, who knows what might have happened.
I am never gonna see a merman. Ever.
He was a lot scarier than I thought he was going to be. He did not look like the merman I was picturing.
I would have wished that it was Namor. He could walk on land at least. Although it'd be weird and sexier. We don't know how to review this movie. It was really good, but I think we should talk about our dislikes, I guess.
Okay, what did we not like about this movie? I mean, I guess I would have liked to see a little more explanation about, you know, how things came to be. But it's open for prequels.
The stuff that we would dislike mostly is because we wanted more information.
Right.
Which means you've done a great job building this universe. So much so that it's like, give me an unlimited amount of movies.
I'm curious about how frequently we have to perform this ritual.
And that could have been easily resolved with like a ticker or a clock inside
yeah.
the lab. And the fact that they have all of these different things happening all over the world. They said that most of them failed. So was there no repercussions for those other places failing?
I think just anywhere in the world must succeed. Like, do you call it off if the first one succeeds? I think it's by design too, because it just might become ridiculous really quickly if they start trying to overanalyze.
And then you start getting into the possibilities where if these guys are this old, there's no way this is their first run. Unless this is everybody's first run.
I feel like it's been going like as old as time. It came from like, you know, the Aztecs were doing it and it just like, it never stopped.
Right, but if you're that one guy who's 60, you could have maybe experienced it one time. Like, how frequent is
Maybe
this?
it's every year.
If it's every year, wow. Way to go.
Do they have to be killed by the monsters? Or do they just have to die? It seemed like really they just had to die. So why
Right.
don't you send in SEAL Team 6 and just off them in order? The world literally depends on this. Knockout gas and then knife to the heart in order. Done. See you next year. This isn't even really a dislike. I don't know. I'm a nerd and I enjoy breaking things apart. But like the Japanese version, it did not have the whore and the virgin and the fool.
No, just a bunch of 9-year-olds.
You could kill 5 Americans in this order or a room full of Japanese schoolgirls.
The Japan crew should have had this in the bag. They fucked us. How hard is it to kill 9-year-olds?
That's another spin-off I'd like to see is just like each version in each country.
I'll be honest. I didn't hate anything in this movie.
That's the worst thing it did, was just like make me crave more. Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings.
Cabin in the Woods is such a good movie. I love the concept. I love the characters. Everybody crushed it. And it's just one of those movies that stuck with me. It's like basically seeing Scream. That was meta horror. This is meta horror. And every like 5 to 10 years, a really good one comes out. And this is that one. Doing spoiler reviews is weird. We don't do it often, and that's why this is frustrating and hard. But when all is said and done, I will give this 5 Keymaster cameos out of 5.
I loved this movie the whole way through. From the cast to the pacing, it just tore apart everything, you know, every few minutes it seemed. And like, oh, now we're doing something else. It kept me guessing the whole way. I had no idea what was happening. And, you know, by the last act, it was just, oh my God, what is going on with this? For real. You know, I'm a little disappointed that there was no spin-offs that came out of this because I think there's so much potential for it and I would absolutely love to see it. But I'm glad we got what we did and I thought this movie was fantastic. It's an absolute must-see if you haven't seen it. So I'm gonna give this movie 5 coffee mug bongs out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, links in the description. And if you want to hear a really cool commentary that we just did, link is in the description to the Patreon where there is definitely a commentary. It's CJ watching it for his first time, not knowing anything. It's pretty fun.
Blew my mind.
Check it out. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay updated with everything, Bloodbath and beyond.